You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Do not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters. A message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten. A call to all intellectuals, to all journalists. A call to all freethinkers. A call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets. A call to the strong and the weak. A call to all young people. To the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo. In the skyscrapers of New York. In the lanes of Paris. In the cellars of Munich. On Moscow's icy places. On the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people. To the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us, because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated, because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, Million March USA special. This is part 4 in Million Mass in our live streams today. This will be the last one. I'm thinking we'll do only an hour and a half episode, and we do have some organizers in the USA area. Let me see. Let's start with. Casper, can you mute your mic? Like, it's like really loud. Darlene, you want to go first?
Sure.
Everybody's getting tired.
Don't be shy.
Be shy? Never. Not shy.
Well, I mean, I guess I could go first. We were trying to have some organizers from Chicago, but I don't believe any of them showed up. I do know one of them personally, but I don't know how to get a hold of them anymore. So, Million Mass March Chicago will be going on as it has been for as long as I can remember it. So if you're going to Million Mass March Chicago, take any of the trains down to Union Station downtown. You guys will be, I think it's Canal or I think is it Randolph? Don't quote me on it, but it's in Union Station, kind of near the Randolph Divide, and then you guys will meet up in front of Union Station. Well, both sides of Union Station, north and south side, will meet on that street, and then from there you guys will be marching to the Bean, and then all around the city as they have done for so many other years. As far as Los Angeles, I know Los Angeles did pop up again overnight. I believe it will be somewhere downtown. I don't know the exact location off the top of my head. Does anybody else want to go on with where their march is and what's going on with them?
Okay, well, since it's the USA episode,
that was very interesting.
Really, it's not really healthy to do the Amsterdam march again, but yeah, we march in Amsterdam at 1300, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Starting point, the Dam Square in Amsterdam. But maybe you guys mention where you march.
In Brussels, here in Europe, around 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock p.m. And the Muntplein. I don't know how you say this in English, but yeah, yes, exactly. This is gonna come all together and we did it there.
We're also having a Million Mass March in Akron, Ohio. It's going to be meeting at the Metro RTA Downtown Transit Center at 631 South Broadway. Be there about.
We have special guest Serena Shims, Judy Poe. Serena Shims' mom will be driving here from Michigan tonight and joining us tomorrow with Serena Shims' little sister. They will be joining us along with an anti-racist militia who's going to be running our security for us. The march starts at 12 p.m. downtown Metro bus station at the overnight parking.
Yeah, you guys down in Akron, Ohio, you guys do the Million Mass March different because I've seen you guys march with open carry militia, right?
Yes, we do that. In Ohio, it is an open carry state. The weapon has to be on safety, visible at all times, and there cannot be a round in the chamber. We want to show that we are with the Constitution of the United States of America, and that you are more than welcome to open carry with us.
Excellent.
Texas also is an open carry state, but we still have problems with, even if on safety,
the only problem we foresee having this year is with an ex-Akron Anon member who has been trying to get Akron Anons locked up and accusing them of being involved in a fire at her house, which was totally untrue and unfounded. Her fire wasn't even ruled arson, it was ruled suspicious, and she has since been trying to accuse Akron Anons with no proof that we were involved in her fire. which is totally, totally false. We had nothing to do with it whatsoever. All of us have solid alibis as to where we were that night, what we were doing, and who we were with.
Well, I mean, just take the extra step to make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you don't have a round in the chamber. Make sure that it's on safety, and take the extra step and put the clip in your backpack. You know, the point is to show carrying.
Also, Akron Fire. If you guys haven't heard, Akron Fire has been giving us issues too with that same issue with this ex Akron Anon member, which we're not going to name. She knows who she is. They have called our phones and tried to interrogate us over the phones, and Free Anon stepped up as our attorney and told them that we will not be speaking to Akron Fire. And when we told them that we had an attorney, the Akron Fire arson investigator, Mr. Nathan Falcone, said that having an attorney was criminal and illegal.
Well,
and therefore makes us guilty.
He actually said it's illegal to have an attorney.
Yes, that's what he said over the phone. It is illegal to have an attorney.
Yep.
Right. Sure.
Well, yeah, as a slave in America, that's what you get nowadays.
So yeah, that's our only concern, is that her husband has been stating on a YouTube thread that he wants to fight us. That you know, in the Anon Worldwide server, if you guys didn't notice, all of us Akron Anons left, and it was because there was a certain person in there that runs with this ex-Akron Anon who was threatening to shoot up our houses and things like that. That was one of the reasons why all of us bounced out.
Oh my gosh.
I do
John,
have
John, check your message.
I do have a quick message from the Anons in Belgrade in Serbia, and for anybody that would like to meet with them, they will be at Studenski Park, and I'm sorry, but I don't know how to pronounce the street address. But if you do go to the Belgrade Serbia Million Mask March, they'll have more information there. But they are listening and give their love and respect to everybody that's out on the streets.
Well, I'm not the organizer. Our organizer is someone else that's anonymous, but we will be holding the Million Mask March in Dallas, and that is at Pinehorn Park, which is at 2012 Woodall Rogers Freeway, Dallas, Texas, and it begins at noon until whenever. We had quite a turnout last year. We even had natives that showed up to meet those of us who worked with Standing Rock, and they were from AMI, American Movement for natives, for indigenous, and so this year might even be a bigger turnout. It looks promising so far. Last year we did it at Tilly Park, where JFK was shot. Started out there, but we end up at the Federal Reserve Building, and we have a little display that we do for if you will. But in the Fed, that's all I got to say.
Darlene, I guess some people in the audience are saying you might want to speak in a little closer into your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. I will repeat. I'm not the organizer. That is another anonymous person that has organized the Million Mask March, but it will be November 5th, beginning at noon until whenever, and it is scheduled for Clyde Warren Park, 2012, Woodall Rogers Freeway, Dallas, Texas. Last year we had a great turnout. We even had members from American Indian Movement, AIM is what I meant to say. Sorry about the dogs. Somebody's come in. At any rate, this year looks pretty promising. We have quite a few that's looked as going, so I've got a feeling this one's going to be even better. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I don't know I think if ARM can join, I think he might be involved with the DC. March. See, can you join? Oh, he said he's gonna hop in a minute. Okay, yeah, because that's always the big march. Let me see, Twin Ports. What do you got going on in your city?
Yeah, our collective is actually joining Anonymous Twin Cities down in St. Paul, Minnesota. Be at the Minnesota State Capitol around 11 p.m. or a.m. My bad, and marching to various targets. Church of Scientology is one of them. For security culture reasons, I might not want to name the other targets right now.
Okay. I am going to clock in for one of our old members. I'm going to speak for him. There is a Million Mass March going on in Tampa, Florida. It'll be from 2 to 5 p.m. He forgot to put in the addresses. Go ahead, take a minute.
There's also a Million Mass March in Columbus, Ohio, as well at Goodell Park at 12 p.m.
Yeah, it looks like in Tampa, Florida, you guys will be starting to march at Lights Gaslight Park, and at 2 p.m.
And I believe there's one in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, too.
Yeah.
Our targets for Akron are all the courthouses: the federal courthouse, Summit County Courthouse, the Akron Police Station, Akron City Center, where the Akron Fire Investigation Unit is, and the Akron Fire Police Chief's offices. We will also be hitting the university as well.
There's also one going to be in New Orleans. I'm not sure of the time that they start, but they're going to hit all the federal buildings and local courthouses, FBI, so forth, and they're going to they've already got over 100 people showing up, and it's going to be at the French Quarters, and they also have banners made to free Assange.
Awesome.
And yeah, we're going to keep posting and updating people. If you guys can share this out, as you know, our page across, name the social media network and platform, we're being censored on it. So, make sure that you're sharing and getting the word out. The same as if you need us to tell, to tell people where you guys are, where you'll be meeting, post it in the comments and we'll read it off or message one of us.
Yes, active.
Hey, what about the Federal Reserve? You guys got a Federal Reserve location in Dallas too, Darlene?
Yes, that's where we end up at, as the Federal Reserve. I have a picture from last year where we were actually at the Federal Building at the end of our march.
Okay.
Excellent. Can you ask them if they found my money?
Oh, no. Are you kidding? They'd say, oh, we don't know where that went to.
Oh, no problem.
Like, Social Security is now, it's an entitlement. Didn't you know?
Another building that we're going to hit that a lot of people doesn't know exists in Akron is there's an FBI building in Akron that's unmarked. It's next to the Barley House Pub and Restaurant in downtown.
So after a bus, they go to afterwards.
The viewers in Chicago, you guys marched right by the secret police torture facility in downtown Chicago. And make sure to take pictures and going on there.
I believe that detention facility is like in Fulton Market, though. It's a little ways away, though, from Union Station, though.
Yeah. Where's Home Square?
In Chicago.
Yeah, that's where that black site.
Oh, I thought it was in Fulton Market. I don't know where Holman Square is. That might be, dude. That might be near Kedzie Avenue, but like I don't know. You'd have somebody would have to. It sounds familiar, but I just don't remember it.
Post some info, but there's something that people just to keep in mind. I mean, it's right there. It's in the middle of the street, open to everybody. People go in there and they don't come back out. And this is on U.S. soil, and it's not talked about. It's not hidden either. but there's no place that should have a weird torture facility, especially not in the heart of Chicago.
Well, it is Chicago. No, it's playing.
You're at least required to keep your secret torture facilities hidden. You know, you can't have a secret torture facility and rub it in my face at the same time. Like, do us the favor and fucking hide it, like any normal person.
Is that like CIA building or what?
This is one of those. It's to everybody that wants it. So the police use it. You know, the alphabet soup organizations use it. It's one of those. It's a black site. They do whatever they want.
Yeah, they don't put you into the. They don't actually book you and put you into the system. You can sit there for 3 to 7 days, just depending on your lawyers can't get to you.
Yeah, you don't. They don't. You know, you can't contact anybody. There's been people that have been put on missing persons where just you were walking down the street and you disappeared, and they're not. They don't tell you that anybody's there.
Also, if you guys, whoever listening doesn't know, our brother Phoenix, Akron Phoenix 420, is locked up in the Northeast Ohio Correctional Center without bail, and they called him a terrorist in the courtroom. They said he's a danger to society because of his skill set. If anybody wants to write him, send him money. If you look up hashtag Free Phoenix 420, you'll look up. They'll see the address for him, where he is, how to reach out to him. Y'all could write him. He'd love that.
Also, there's an address for Reality Winner. Anybody that knows anything about her, she was in the Navy and she exposed voter fraud. So they're actually have her in prison because she exposed what they're doing.
Yeah, I believe somebody. God, I follow her mom. Is it Bonnie, right?
No, Billy.
Billy, that's right.
Billy J.
We had her on our show, Tyler.
Billy J. Davis.
Thought there was something going on. I know that there's a play that's reenacting what had happened. No, maybe there isn't a march going on there. Let's see, will ARM join us? Well, I mean, I can go into discussion. I don't know if our promoter can put on some of the pay spins onto our live streams. We've been having issues ever since we've been posting the Million Mass March, and some of them have been disappearing and being reported. If you think that your Million Mass March got reported down, it's still going on. If the event page went down on your Facebook, Twitter, or whatever social media site you were doing it's still going on. It wasn't the only one we're aware of that was canceled was the one in Nepal.
Yeah, they can't get a permit for their march. I know we never ask a permit, but in there it's very seriously. I mean, they've got a very aggressive police force stopping them. So they said, they literally said to the Nepal crew, you have to register a company in Nepal. You have to register Anonymous as a company in Nepal to be able to march. What they said. So I was saying, like, yeah, so I said to them, like, since when do companies have more rights than humans? Like, what is going on with that?
Well, that's like the U.S. That's essentially what they've, come to here too. Corporations are people, my friend. Yeah, they're people. Plus, they have extra rights. So,
yeah. So, as a corporation, you get all the bonus. You don't have to pay taxes. You can just pollute wherever the fuck you want. You can hire your own private army, right? Which is always a plus when you want to oppress the fuck out of people.
I believe we had somebody from Anonymous, Montana, or it was Minnesota or Montana, Minnesota. I don't know.
Also, if you guys don't know, Akron PD, they are extremely, extremely violent. They have attacked us before. guy had an arm broke 1 year. One guy got his jaw broke. They said that he burned a flag, which is covered underneath the First Amendment, and they slammed him into a wall and broke his arm.
Oh my God. Are they doing this just to Anons or to like all the protesters?
They did it to just Anons, people who were masked. They've been known to stop Anons walking down public sidewalks, even when not protesting, and jumping them. And yeah, just for wearing an Anon hoodie. I had it happen to me once. Akron PD stopped me walking home from a friend's house just for wearing an anonymous hoodie. They said I was a criminal hacker.
Well, yeah. The attitude towards the police in the Midwest, as far as the Anons, is that the Anons in the Midwest seem to be more prevalent on street operations, from what I've known, what I've noticed. Yeah. So the cops don't take kindly to when they start seeing Anons protesting out in the street.
I had Dallas police bicycling, right behind me. Here, take off your mask. They know who we are anyways, so it don't matter.
During the RNC protest in Cleveland, like 4 of us went down there for that, and they actually they pulled guns on us and had us down on our knees with guns to our heads. Cleveland PD did. One of them slammed me into a wall just for wearing a mask, and they said the police captain of the narco police unit told me that a Trump supporter said we had rocks in our backpacks.
Well, they are.
They can see through your backpack. Okie doke.
And so they slammed us into a wall and had us down at gunpoint.
You were armed, weren't you?
I believe
with some imaginary rocks.
Yep.
And I believe the ARM is here. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
Pretty good. Are you doing the DC march this year?
No, I'm doing Denver this year.
Okay.
Not organizing, just attending. They've got 2 different events. March on the state capitol in the morning, and then another event at 420 and protest of this constitutional amendment X out here that's going to completely fuck up the hemp legalization that's happened.
Do you want to explain some of that to maybe?
I don't really know a whole lot about this amendment. I really just heard about it a couple of days ago, but it's going to put the hemp statutes under what they have for federal, which is illegal federally. So, there's quite a lot of stuff going on in Colorado with hemp.
But that's how they make CBD legal, so they can send it nationwide, is through hemp.
Right.
Well,
which is almost as big as a $1 billion industry as the cannabis industry.
CBD has been outlawed here in Ohio. It is now illegal. If you are caught in a vape shop carrying it, it is a felony charge. You will go to prison.
Wow. I've been hearing a little bit about this, but yeah, they seem to be doing some rollbacks here.
Well, they're trying to ban CBD from everywhere, even states that are legalized.
For those that are going to vote, we're not going to put out vote or don't vote. That's just everybody has their own personal opinions on that. But for the people that are going out to vote, research what's going on and make sure that you're voting people into office that aren't going to take away cannabis and CBD rights for people. So this is things that affect people with cancer. This is the things that affect people with PTSD,
chronic pain.
Yeah, I mean,
it's with
it's not a small thing.
Botched brain surgery. The back of her, a friend of mine, back of her skull was not put on. Neurosurgeon went in there and he did the surgery. It was a cancerous tumor. He not only did not remove the tumor, but when he sewed her back up, he didn't put the back of her skull on. So she has severe seizures. And then, of course, we have Alexis Portel, who had to leave Texas to go to Colorado because she has such bad seizures. And with CBD not being legal, she had no choice but to leave. So I have a lot of people that I represent for this, and myself included. I even had to start smoking because of my problems. I can have seizures. and I have a high tolerance to pain, but I have a lot of medical issues.
Well, I can vouch for CBD's power in treating seizures. My fiance has pretty bad seizures, and since having an abundance of CBD in our lives, I haven't seen her have one. So,
right. So why take medicine away when, I mean, it's big pharma and it's prohibition all over again.
Well, that's the driving force behind all these different laws and amendments trying to be passed against the CBD industry. It was either Ohio or Illinois. It came out that it was strictly funded by Big Pharma.
Oh yeah, because
they attack these laws.
Yeah, because they have a new medication out, and they don't want anybody to produce it from a plant that anybody can grow.
And it's got overwhelming support. So I mean, the last study that they did, it's like 80% of people believe, you know, in the U.S. believe that medical marijuana specifically should be legalized, and it's about the same 70-80% for people that think it should be recreational. So I mean,
it helps with dementia, Parkinson's disease. We've been doing free the weed and cannabis open carry walks all over Texas all year long.
So yeah, if you're in a place and you are going out to vote and bringing others to vote and all of that good stuff, you know, go and do some research and make sure that you're voting, you know, for programs and laws that support cannabis legislation and against ones that are trying to fight it. This really is people versus the corrupt corporations in black and white here. So if you are going to vote, you know, use this opportunity to make
I would say state by state, look at all the various propositions and amendments that are on the ballot. Like here in Colorado, there's a proposition, I guess they're calling it, that will restrict the area that allows fracking, like extremely. And there's a lot of misinformation out on this campaign. This could be a very good thing, like coming from our side, give us a lot of ground to fight the resource extraction industry. And I mean, the oil and gas industry is running the campaign against it, and you know, you're seeing billboards like "Vote No on 112, protect our schools," which, when in fact the measure would require that fracking operations be, I think it's 2,500 feet away from a school, where currently it's like 500 is the limit. So, in fact, voting yes on the proposition would protect the schools, right?
You'd have to really look into that. I'm going to tell you now, I live in a state that's oil, okay? We have gone solar because we refuse.
I heard the Texas, in South Texas, they just had a boom, and they got a boom city where they're lodging up all these guys. They know there's only there's only 4 months worth of oil up there, and they get all these guys from out of state promising them a career, and they know it's just going to run out.
Well, here's the thing: the DAPL and the Keystone XL. The reason those were they were pushed through is because they're going to run a pipeline all the way to China, and the main corporate office for DPL, DAPL, or well, DPL, okay, and that's, well, let's just put it just EPT, that's the name of the company. They're over in Toronto, Canada. So from Canada, the United States, all the way to China. And if you look at the great concept of all of our pipelines, okay,
Energy Transfer Partners.
Energy Transfer Partners, you're correct.
Yeah, their United States office is actually based out of Texas. So,
okay, hold on. The sub office, the CEO is Kelsey Warren, and he lives in Dallas. That's who you're speaking of. This is his son's park that he named the park after. That's where he got his funds raised to continue this. Now, the grid concept of all these pipelines, if you look at it, looks like that of veins, okay, in your body. And when those things leak, it's just like having all your veins clogged up. And these are our waterways. The other problem is fracking, okay? Now, what that does is that goes into the core of our Earth's, you know, between below surface. And the Earth can only take so much. We've had explosions and everything here. I was at work one day,
What do you think
and all of a
sinkholes
sudden
come
we
from?
had an earthquake. What's that?
What do you think sinkholes
I know,
come
I
from
grew
that
up
are
in
popping up in
Florida.
the Midwest?
Yeah, I grew up in Florida. We had sinkholes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's where a lot of it comes from. The Barnett Shell is like, oh, if you knew what it looked like, you would be disgusted. And from what I understand, there was an executive order also signed for them to go ahead and dump toxic waste into our waterways. Isn't that lovely? We already got Flint, Michigan, and, you know, it's disgusting.
I think there is a march going on in Flint this year.
I hope so. They need it.
Anybody can find that posted in the comments. No, just to kind of echo some of that. The fracking, you know, there are so many fracking companies that are just kind of waiting here. Right now, there's been a big drop in Wisconsin fracking sand. Take that as an opportunity. There's so many other uses for sands. We really don't need this our waterways. They take hydraulic fluids, chemicals that we know are cancerous, toxic chemicals, and literally use these big hydraulic presses to push that through our water table and through the rocks to push oil out. So, you know, in an oil spill, you're accidentally spilling oil into the water. When it comes to fracking, you're deliberately pushing chemicals through the water. Like, part of the process requires you to pollute your waterway, or it doesn't work. That's how the whole system works. If you guys know the basics of physics, right? Liquids can't be compressed, and they use that to hydraulically push oil out of rocks. And the bottom line is, we don't need it. We don't need it at all. The only people that this is helping is the bottled water companies and the fossil fuel industry.
Speaking of which, Nestle, Pure Life, I caught them stealing from forests and everything else way back when. Big, long story short, that's why Lavoy Finicum was taken out, because he was fighting against them. I know that's kind of a twist in the subject, but, you know, it needs to be said. This is why we see so much problems, because the oil industry, all they care about is oil. You know, they don't care if it's our... We can live without many things. The one thing we cannot live without is what?
If you guys don't know who Lavoy Finicum was, Lavoy Finicum was involved in the Malamud Animal Reservation standoff with the FBI. He was murdered in cold blood by an FBI, hands in the air, and he had the FBI planted a gun on him that wasn't even his. He didn't even own any kind of guns. His fingerprints were not on the weapon. The serial number did not come back to him. It actually came back to an FBI police raid that was done where that gun was found in a drug house. And the gun was in his left pocket. Lavoy Finicum was right-handed, not left. It was a 9mm semi-automatic that was found. Lavoy Finicum never owned a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. He only owned revolvers and rifles.
Well, not to mention, we all saw the video where he got
video was
shot,
clear as
where
day.
he
The
comes
guy
out
had his hands in the air.
the truck, yeah, unarmed, hands in the air.
It was very similar to what they did to it's very similar what they did to Red Fawn, where they planted a gun on, you know, and then the gun traces back to somebody completely different, doesn't have your fingerprints or anything on it. But this is a tactic that they use over and over and over again.
Well, it's just like the Las Vegas concert, okay?
Oh yeah, the patsy that they got. Yeah, I mean, The guy had. Here's the key thing. Here's the key thing that a lot of people
Here in Ohio, here in Ohio, if you guys don't know too, if any of the marches, like any of the protests and big marches that have ever happened in Ohio, Akron, Columbus, Cleveland, there's always snipers on the rooftops. We have pictures of this proving it. In Columbus in 2016, they had snipers on all of the rooftops for our Million Mask March. Our first and second Million Mask March in Akron, there was snipers. In Cleveland, there was snipers. There was military on the ground with machine guns in the back of black SUVs during the RNC.
Yeah, DC was like that during the election.
Right. If you slowed that video down to the concert, that none of those bullets came from the Mandalay. It was people on the ground, and the people were blinded that were at the concert by the lights, so they couldn't see what was going on.
Well, that guy's laptop. He managed to have a laptop that had no hard drive that was monitoring video on the other side. How does an accountant who used to work for Norman Rockwell? How does an accountant who has no IT skills manage to run a computer with no hard drive? You know what I mean? Like it's a little it's a little suspicious. I mean, yeah, you can run a computer without a hard drive, but you would have to have the technical know-how to do it, which is, I mean, it's not that hard, but I don't think that the shooter or the guy that they had said had done it had the technical skills to do that. Okay.
No, none to my knowledge either, because I did a in-depth research on him, and as far as I knew, they were trying to say that he was making gun sale deals and backdoor deals and stuff like that. Now, if you look at the room where he was, you could tell there was more than one person in that room.
Well,
and
we had a guy that we were supposed to have on. He was got the health ranger. Am I right, Preston?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
did
an
the
ex-Marine.
the audio analysis on that on the shooting. There were at least 3 shooters, probably 4.
no, there was 4 or more, and they were dressed up as security.
Yeah, there's a guy I know from Vegas. His I think it's his nephew got shot there, and he says that it was coming from everywhere. That's his explanation.
Right, and you couldn't do that from one window. And here's another thing: all those that were going to that did speak out about it, knew too much, they're dead.
Well, I think there's a lot of bad things that have been going on. I think the Mandalay Bay is suing, counter-suing all the people that are trying to sue the Mandalay Bay.
Well, didn't a handful of the key witnesses
a lot of
die mysteriously shortly thereafter?
Quite a few did. Quite a few did.
There was about 15 to 20 of them.
One of them died. 2 of them, a couple died in a car accident a few months afterward.
There was a couple of them like that. And
there seemed to be a lot of people who died post after
overdosing in their sleep and stuff like that. Yeah. One was a 25-year-old girl, female. It's just.
But where's all the CCTV videos and everything? I mean, come on, there's cameras everywhere in Vegas.
You're probably gonna have to get a
you're being
FOIA
lied to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a FOIA request, and they probably won't even do it because they stopped the investigation a few months ago, officially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was quietly shut down, if you will.
Do we know where the meetup spot for DC will be? Anybody?
Yeah, it will be 9 a.m. at the Washington Monument, I believe.
Awesome.
Also, for those of you who don't know, we have Anonymous Akron has a Discord server. If anybody would like to join, throw us a message on our Twitter account or on here, and we will get that link to you, and you can join up with us. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, not out in the public. Some people know about it, some people don't. If you notice, a lot of the Ku Klux Klan pages, Twitter accounts are now gone. That was us the other day. We eliminated all of those in 24 hours.
Good deal. Awesome work.
Nice.
I believe ARM. ARM, what were you trying to say?
I think I said what I was saying. If it popped up, I guess it was some background noise.
Oh, okay.
And I also wanted to bring up this year in Ohio, Ohio voters are going to be deciding whether or not to reduce penalties for crimes for obtaining, possessing, and using illegal drugs, from reducing those from felonies to misdemeanors. That would include drugs such as fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, LSD, and other controlled substances, and also prohibit jail time as a sentence for obtaining, possessing, and using those until the individual's third offense in 24 months.
Well, I've heard of other states when it was legalized, like for instance Colorado, they went back 35 years and forgave and had to drop everything from the records on anybody arrested on any type of a marijuana charge.
Well, what they're doing here is they're going to be reducing their sentences by 25%, but they have to participate in real rehabilitative work or educational programming for the ones that are currently incarcerated.
Yeah, a lot of states on the West Coast have reduced a lot of those crimes down to misdemeanors.
Some of them have eliminated them, period. They just took and wiped the slate clean, which is cool, but by the same token, look at the money that was shelled out for it. You know, here in Texas, and pretty much going on nationwide, we don't have jails anymore. We have private prisons.
I got you. Shoot, I wonder what happened to our guest that was in New York. Guess he's not coming. Okay, so there will be a Million Mass March in New York, I believe, on Wall Street. Just wish he was here just to announce it, and that's okay.
Anybody else got something to say?
And going back to the CBD oil, the medication is Epidiolex, which is a Schedule 5 in the United States, and any other CBD oil is a Schedule 1.
Yeah, which makes absolutely no sense why a pharmaceutical company can get approval for
What is this? What is this drug they've created?
Epidiolex and Syndros, or Epidiolex, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Pharma gets a pass. Mom and Pops don't.
Yeah, Epidiolex. It's a Schedule 5, and anything that's non-Epidiolex is a Schedule 1, prohibited for any use.
So is it any different from CBD?
It's the USP grade, 99.9%. That's the only difference. Came from the same plant. Everything that you would find, from your backyard CBD maker.
Well, isn't it from their GMO plants though?
Possibly.
Yeah, you got to grow their stuff and use their oil.
In Ohio, and the reason is the Ohio Board of Pharmacy basically banned the CBD oil because it did not become part of the pharmaceutical grade, basically through our distribution services through the state. Which made it illegal.
Well, that sucks.
It's your fascist government at work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see, guys. We got another 40 minutes.
Okay, well, I'll start by maybe giving some advice on how to do this march. Like take some good shoes with you and some extra water, maybe for other people who need it, and don't get violent. I guess that's important. And there is an advice like to close down all the phones. I would suggest if people get like arrested by a cop or something, make sure you film this. We can
Also in Ohio and I know a couple other states here in the U.S. they have what's called the National Lawyers Guild. They are a activist group that are lawyers that show up out of marches and protests, and they will protect you during the marches and protests. If police try to kettle you or arrest you, they will defend you and have video cameras and have markers they carry on them to write their number on you. That way you'll have it on you when you go to jail. And if anybody gets violent, a lot of the Akron Anons are carrying pepper spray on them. And what's called law. It's a liquid and acid mix. Liquid and acid and water.
Okay,
Yeah.
you come well prepared then.
It's true what you say, you know, the people, they are getting, they going out for peaceful do protest, you know, all over the world, and the police do a little bit difficult, and then it's from one.
Oops.
Years, that's usually been the case everywhere I've been, is the law enforcement is the aggressor.
In fact, Akron PD, when they arrested Phoenix, they started parading his mask around saying, ha, 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 look who we caught.
Yeah, it's shocking. Now with the Phoenix, they really wanted to make him an example, I think, to scare others. Like,
And actually, their case is falling apart right now because Phoenix is being held without bail, and his stupid public defender attorney told him to sign a paper that waived his right to a speedy trial. So what's happening now is the government has now been asking for more time to prove their case, and they have not been able to do so. Yet he is still sitting in prison. They cannot prove without a shadow of a doubt that he caused all the damage they claim he did, which is next to impossible by just one person. I'm sorry, you can't take down a website with a stupid smartphone, a cheap $40 smartphone at that.
Well,
Not
if you
possible.
can, your website sucks.
No shit.
No, remember that guy Faisal? That guy that he's always somewhere in Asia, and he would take down web pages with his phone.
Hey, but they can maybe do it, but then you need to be very, very, very smart.
they have a very crappy website, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It has to be, not protected or.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually it does, when it comes down to courts in the courtroom, it's like, it's always like a kangaroo court. Usually, even if you are innocent, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to walk out of that courtroom being innocent,
Yeah.
Well, the court's goal is to secure a conviction one way or another, and their preference is to persuade you to take a plea deal instead of going to trial.
They actually tried to get him to do
trial 10 years.
The public
but,
defender,
if you just take the plea, I'll give you a month in jail.
The public defender he has, I was the only Akron Anon that showed up to his court case. I was in a car with another person for an hour. We drove to Cleveland. They had moved Phoenix early in the morning when they found out that a bunch of us were going to show up outside the federal courthouse. So then they moved him to Cleveland real quick. So I show up there, and right as the judge tells everybody, okay, court's adjourned for the day, the FBI agent, one of them comes over to me and demands I give him my cell phone. And I told him to suck a cock.
That's a bit extreme on his part, not yours. That's exactly what I would have said too.
He was a young kid too. He was younger than me. He looked way younger. His suit was swimming in it. It was baggy. His pants were sagging. His freaking jacket was like longer than the wrist of his hand, like practically covering his hands. It was hilarious.
I can't believe it. Yeah, this was
Yeah, this kid is sitting there in the courtroom. This kid FBI agent, he's a terrorist. He's a danger to society. We asked that he get no bail because he's such a danger. Okay, that's what they said about Aaron Swartz too, and Jeremy Hammond, and everybody else who's been arrested. Barrett Brown, Matt DeHart, everybody who's been arrested that's an Anon. They said that about everybody.
And the others, and after the screens too, we don't know about it.
And speaking of the private prison system, privately owned prisons, that's actually what Phoenix is sitting in right now. And little does anybody know, the prison is owned by a company called CCA. Jeremy Hammond was actually investigating these people before he was pinched.
Yeah, they're one of the biggest private prison industries in the country.
Yep.
They've been renamed CoreCivic.
They actually tried to detain Zero Cool and I when we went to go try to visit Phoenix. They tried to block us in.
Oh, dang.
Then I went to see him the next week and they approved me, which was a very good visit with him. He said he was doing okay. He said he was doing pretty good. He was worried about a few things, that they were parading murderers around in his jail block, and we have letters of him stating this.
They're basically trying to intimidate Phoenix and making him
intimidating and scare him. Yes. And
he can also get hurt.
Yes.
And he also stated in the recent letters that he has given them nothing. He has not ratted anybody out. He has not snitched on anybody, and that he told them that he's not going to give them anything. So I know there was a lot of speculation on Twitter and things like that Phoenix might be a snitch and all that shit. It is actually not fact. That is false rumors. Phoenix is not snitching or telling on anybody. He has kept.
Well, that should be standard in our world. Like, no matter what the situation is, non-cooperation with police at all times. Like,
well, that's not the case when it came down to the girl, the woman who accused Akron Anons of burning down her house, the ex-Akron Anon member. She has actually given Akron PD and Akron Fire Akron Anon screen names, phone numbers, and real names. She gave a bunch of people up.
And also went to the Akron Housing Department to get names too.
Yep.
Did her house actually catch on fire? Because
nobody knows for sure what happened. No, none of us know exactly what happened. There was a string of fires that were identical to that fire in the same neighborhood, the same time of night, for like 4 months before that also, and then a couple months after that as well. and the Akron Fire Department has ruled all of them suspicious and not been able to solve anything. They claim that they're too backed up to be able to solve cases at this point.
Okay, how old of homes are these?
They're older homes built in the early 1900s.
And they're all vacant, and they're all two-story homes where they have women and children.
I will tell you exactly what's going on with that. Is they're trying to speed up the gentrification process of the ghettos out there.
They are, and the city wants that property bad. And then, so the night of the fire, she wasn't even able to keep her story straight about what happened that night. The first story she told was that she wasn't even home during the fire. Then she turned around and said, well, I was home during that fire. I was getting ready for bed. Then she claimed that her dog ran after an intruder who broke into her house when her dog was found upstairs dead, and her daughter was badly burned and died in the hospital the very next morning from wounds of the fire. So then she goes around, because we had a falling out with her in January, she told Akron Fire and Akron PD she suspected that we had done the fire. And she claimed that I had a black Mustang that I've never ever even owned, because I don't even have a license or a permit. Zero Cool can vouch for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even live in the same freaking county as that fire happened in.
Here's the thing. What they do is they use older homes like that and claim it's faulty wiring.
They haven't even claimed that. They just have ruled it suspicious, and that's the end of that.
Sure, they're going to point the finger elsewhere.
She's been running around telling people that we did it without any proof. Even though we have alibis proving that we were home, she's still running around saying it.
And she's changed her story how many times?
About 20 different times. We have screenshots and media stories she did with the media proving that she had changed her story a whole bunch of times, and all the details.
And they didn't see the holes in that, huh?
Nope, but they accused us of doing it. They even called our phones.
Of course they see the holes, but it's a good way to demonize a large group of anonymous right there. Why would they? That's just like when prosecution has evidence that would clear you of the crime, but they withhold it even though that's against the law.
Right.
So she's been running around on her Twitter, claiming that we did it, claiming that we're narcissistic, that we're this, we're that. A lot of people know this person and follow her on Twitter, and a lot of people have had curiosity questions about what's been going on with that.
We have flying monkeys.
Yeah, she claims that we're flying monkeys. I don't know what the hell even fucking means.
Okay,
she's been claiming a bunch of
the
shit.
Wizard of Oz too much.
Apparently. But this woman is very dangerous. We found out this morning that she is on the FBI's terror watch list.
Terror watch list?
Yes, we found out
somebody's got some really weird feedback.
She is on the FBI's terror watch list. That's what we found out this morning.
I'm sure quite a lot of us are on that list.
Am I the only one hearing that?
That's like
no.
old-timey AM staff.
I think it's Akron.
Casper.
Yeah, it's probably mine.
Casper, yeah, you got some like extreme electrical interference.
There we go.
Is that better?
No.
Oh, that's
fine
really weird. Oh, shit. The minute I said that, that's when it happened. That's really weird.
Bro, that sounds like microwave interference, dude.
Holy shit.
You near a microwave?
Is it any better? No, I'm outside the house.
Yeah. It could be. Go inside the house and see if it changes.
Oh my god.
Nope.
Any black vans around you, bro?
Lord, go to the bathroom.
Perhaps you should try reconnecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that too.
There we go.
Yeah, there we
It
go.
worked.
Poor guy.
I was gonna say that sounded like definitely like electrical, like kind of like when you're near a microwave.
Right. Right. And
This is
there's
why you're
several
supposed to
ways you
wrap
can
your
do
house in tinfoil. It keeps the government signals out.
That reminds me of that Weird Al Yankovic's video.
So yeah, I just want to bring it back to the marches. So when you do go down to the marches, be well prepared. Just remember that, you know, live streaming, recording videos are always your best evidence. If any cop tries to do anything against you, remember that you have rights and you have the right to not talk to the police, no matter what they say.
I would suggest having a method to like stream your video into a server, upload like Facebook Live, YouTube Live, something that's not a physical file on your device that should you be kidnapped, that you don't like, they can't delete that evidence from you.
Yeah.
Hey, turn your phone off and reset it.
Yeah. It might have. Yeah.
There, much better. I don't know what setting you hit, but that's clear as a bell now. Oh wait, it's starting up a little bit.
Yeah, just make sure in the U.S. you know look at the cards. You have your rights. Know what you got to do. If you have a lawyer of your own, make sure you have that with you. Live stream everything. I'm going to be live streaming possibly in 360 video, which will be pretty sweet. And this is going to be pretty interesting tomorrow.
Did you say 360 video?
Yes.
Nice.
I have a Moto mod on my cell phone. I have a Moto Z series where it has a 360 camera on it.
Those are neat. We did a walk. I'm not going to name the town, but we were in front of a CVS, and the police showed up, and they said that we could not have our walk there because it was private property. It was a public sidewalk. So they looked it over and they found out they were in the wrong. So at least, you know, we won that battle with them. But it just goes to show you that when you're going up against Big Pharma, they don't like it. But it was actually supposedly Home Office had called, or corporate, and said that was their sidewalk. That was their property.
Where Phoenix is being held, there is no public sidewalk to protest.
Oh, that sucks.
Not one at all.
Sounds like Alcatraz. Serious. That's terrible. And he did nothing wrong. I mean, the guy is just, he's a jewel, if you ask me, you know.
He was very nice and cordial. He had no idea who I was. He decided to meet with me. I thought it was great. And it was I had a great visit with him, and I told him I would be coming back, but I had some health issues. But I plan on going back to seeing him shortly, as soon as I can.
That's very kind of you. Very kind of you.
Does anybody know what's going on with the Vatican March? I heard there's people doing that. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, well, we all know what pedophiles are in the Vatican. Pre-shuffling and everything else.
Wait, I just popped out for a minute. Did you guys say that there's going to be a march on the Vatican?
Yeah, there's going to be a march on the Vatican. Yeah.
Hey, there are people
yes.
from Portugal, from Romania. They're all traveling there for this march. There are like a lot of Europeans going there.
That is fucking awesome.
Yes, there's pedophile apologists and shufflers.
Also in London there will be the march as usual. But yeah, the Vatican, that one's I don't remember ever seeing that one pop up. That's a new one.
That one's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we need to find who's going to be live streaming that, and yeah, I want to watch that shit.
Yeah, me too. I'll have to watch it later.
Maybe they'll tear down all those satanic statues and melt the thrones of gold.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to bow down to a man in a dress that kisses me. I've sat before bishops and archbishops in regards to the clergy sex abuse scandals. And one of them, I had him so disgruntled by the time I left because he didn't use sex injuries. Yet he said he didn't realize things were going on. I said, oh, then you must use the ostrich position. Stuck your head in the sand while everything happened. Is that right?
Oh, sorry. Were you talking to me?
No, everyone.
Oh.
Now, if anybody remembers the clergy sex abuse scandals, this was like 2004, 2005 that I did a lot of this starting out. And then I went to Austin to visit another one, but I've sat before bishops, archbishops, a canonical lawyer, and everything else. And I'm not Catholic, nothing like that, you know, but I'll be darned if they harm children.
You know what they do is they know this has been going on for a long time, like ever since I can remember that the scandal's been going on. What they do is they get a troubled priest, they move him from one parish to another where they think they can cover it up, and they'll literally keep this guy in, you know, a priest in a priest or bishop position. They just move them around from point A to point B. Sorry, he molested a little kid over here. Okay, let's move him to Asia. Okay, now he's cool over there. He's cool. No, now we got to move him up to Canada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they did it again. And that's what you call the priest shuffling. And that is done by the Archdiocese and also the Vatican. Goes straight to the Vatican. They have to get all their information and all their clearances from the Vatican.
Well, even
where shall we move this pedo to this time?
Well, even after with the whole recent priest in Pennsylvania, even after that, all of that happened, and he was molested thousands of children. The Pope still gave him, you know, that he was a good guy and a letter of recommendation and stuff. It was really sickening, especially under the pretenses that the guy had to step down for. Was, you know, he wasn't even excommunicated for molesting thousands of children.
Well, here in the States, pedophilia is, you know, normalized. What they have said is they can be rehabilitated. Guess where that came from? But it's ridiculous. I mean, if you're a pedo, you're a pedo. Now, I realize sometimes that it's a false accusation. But, you know, I mean, we got the pedophiles everywhere.
Yeah, what I think you're referring to is that pedophile penal colony that they have up in Washington, where they think that they can rehabilitate these people. The success rate is negligible. You know, they get the people by the time the people leave the colony, they're like 80 years old and have no sex drive. I don't know, you know.
Right. Well, the thing of it is, they still have other parts of them that can.
Well, I don't think that they're. What I'm getting at is, I think that they say that they're having success is that their equipment doesn't work by the time they're released.
Yeah, well, that part of the equipment's one thing, but there's other parts.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. And hiding behind the keyboard, you know, and you know, going after young girls and everything. No. Boys too.
Alright guys, we got 15 minutes.
Tyler, do we have any other walks that you can think of on the basement?
I honestly don't have it in front of me. Let me see.
They didn't say anything like about L.A. or West Coast.
LA's got one. Los Angeles has one.
Yeah.
I tweeted about it.
Yeah, I added the Los Angeles one because he emailed to the email. So, but he said that they will be marching, but he wasn't aware of how many people would show up, and they don't have like a Facebook event, but he was available on Twitter.
Santa Monica, I think, has one also.
Yeah, there's also one going on in Catalonia.
Well, we have websites and Paste and all sorts of things that have like an entire directory. There's a website with maps that have pins everywhere, and you can always show up at a previous year's location. Hell, if you don't have anybody to do something with, do something by yourself.
Oh, here's a big one. I haven't seen one pop up before. There's going to be a march in Palestine tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 1,100 people interested. I think like 150 are saying they are going. So it could be a big one.
That's great.
That isn't the first time I've seen them show up at Guy Fawkes masks at the border.
Oh no, they've been doing a lot of stuff here lately.
Yeah, they have with the Guy Fawkes mask.
My mask looked scary last year. I'm like, what? You guys saw my mask. I like this guy right here. It's got the rosy cheeks.
So that'll be interesting. That's the first I've seen down there. I don't know. We might see that one in the news.
Don't say that too loud. You know how it goes there, man. It's like aggressive.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with what happens down in.
Yeah, I mean, if you mention the news, I'm immediately thinking about all these shootings and violence and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually in the Gaza region, so.
Oh, it's been escalating for the last month, like really bad. That's quite a lot of what I see these days. It's just like more shit, more assassinations, more killing of civilians, protesting, just you name it.
Chopping up journalists.
How come we don't see one in Saudi Arabia?
One does not simply protest in Saudi Arabia.
They're knee deep in oil anyway.
I think I heard in Saudi Arabia like certain types of music are even banned there.
Didn't surprise me.
There's a million mass march in Brussels.
Brussels, yeah. We got Romania going on. Several in Philippines, Norway, Oslo.
Yeah, Europe is strong, of course.
Yeah, if you want to show up in New York, it'll be at 11 Wall Street, New York, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
AM or PM?
AM. Oh wait, shit. It says 9 a.m. to 2300. So yeah, so 9 a.m.
Okay, 2300. Gotcha.
Oh, Philly's going to be another big one. I'm not sure exactly where they're going.
There's one in Minnesota at the state capitol at 11 a.m.
Yep. I'm part of organizing that one.
Did we get Maine or Massachusetts or Utah?
So Philly is 1 p.m. at the Thomas Plain Plaza. And I know that one's going to be really big.
Sounds like it. Philly usually does pretty good. How about New Jersey or West Virginia or Virginia? Any places like that?
I didn't see any. I didn't see any events marked for them.
Georgia?
Not on my end. That doesn't mean that they're not going on.
Right. Just not that you're aware.
Not listed in a place where I could find it, because a lot of Anons, we left Facebook. Because it's not a great place to be posting, you know, events.
Right.
And then we
So we have been making this space bin, but we've been like ignoring all these 600 clone events. So.
Yeah, not only that, our paste bin, one of our paste bins got reported down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, come on.
We were fast enough to copy it and get a new one up, but yeah.
That's awesome.
I recommend always keeping hard copies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just RT this. Boom. Any comments from the guests?
Below the stream.
I just want everyone out there to be safe during this march
Yeah, it's a good
and
one.
be anonymous.
Stand in solidarity.
Yes.
Solidarity is always the best answer.
It's important to drop your fights for at least one day and to just be there and help each other, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully DC goes well this year. I mean, I know every year something happens. Yeah, something always goes down in DC. But
right.
Hopefully it'll be nice. It'll be good. It'll be a good one this year.
Well, last year was pretty chill. I don't think a lot of people showed up. I think it's going to be a lot bigger this year. DC can get kind of rowdy though, so I guess that's kind of dependent on the people that show up.
They tried to arrest one of our marchers for indecent exposure.
What?
He peed on the church grounds, or it was what are those guys? The not Knights Templars, but you know the other ones. Anyways,
Freemasons.
Yes, he peed on the building. Okay, and so an officer came up and we kept him from getting arrested and everything. She just said, "Don't do it again." It was a female officer, but yeah, we had a little video or excerpt on it. It was funny. I hope so. No.
You know, I'm seeing less and less of the Mass March DC being posted anywhere, and I think that's because of the conflict that has been going on with some of the marches. So I don't think that's why that they're labeling it, but the march is still going on in DC.
Good deal.
Well, a lot of the core group that has been going for years is kind of off doing all kind of other stuff this year.
I gotcha.
It's like the London March almost moved completely away from Facebook, so they're using Twitter to promote it now mostly. But yeah, I mean they will still be there. Everyone knows it's on like the Trafalgar Square in London. So yeah.
Guys, we got 5 minutes. Any words of wisdom?
Yes, Swea Wasta Wapilla, which means walk softly on this earth. Remember that the cause is one thing, but also peaceful activities. That way we give them nothing to eat our lunch with. Don't need any fatalities, any arrests. Just go there and do it for the freedom to be able to. Because many places can't.
Exactly. You should see some of our live streams. I think tomorrow we will be trying to get some of the live streams onto our page, which will rebroadcast on the different social media sites. We'll try our best.
Yeah, I'll live stream directly from Amsterdam to the ABB page.
Okay, that would be good. That would be good.
I think Kevin will stream from Brussels to the page too. So yeah.
Okay.
Starts early. We start at 1300. They start at 1400. So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they will start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that is GMT +1. You are 8 hours behind on us in Los Angeles.
I also like to put some support out there for the Mockingbird paper for out of Columbus, Ohio. It's at mockingbirdpaper.com. He has written papers for us on the case for Phoenix and various other cases.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh my God! I just noticed we lost Terrence.
Yeah, I think he had to go.
I think we had another march. Somebody from the south, they wanted to join, but
Maybe mention their location and time for them.
Is it in Raleigh? Raleigh, North
That's
Carolina?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
They've had those storms there, so yeah, that would be awesome to have North Carolina in there. North Carolina and Florida were both hit bad.
Yeah. Got a little bit of time. We got about 2 minutes. So for tomorrow, be prepared. Go to your marches. Keep it safe. Remember, the cops are not your friends. Record everything. Bring out your gas masks if you need to.
I don't think anyone needs a reminder that the cops are not our friends.
Keep silent. If they want to question you, always ask to speak to a lawyer before you speak to them. God, that's
Make sure you bring wipes for the pepper spray if they spray you.
Yeah.
Also, if you just a word of warning, if they do pepper spray, milk helps.
Yeah.
It's what they use at Standing Rock.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have signal jammers like we did last year, but you know, I don't think there'll be any of that stuff going on. But also for your live streaming devices, if you guys want to bring an extra battery pack for your cell phones, that'd be great. Because usually when you're live streaming stuff, it goes dead in about 20-30 minutes. Other than
one.
Other than that, that's pretty much the best advice I can give. Anybody else want to say anything right before we close out?
Phoenix, we still remember you, brother, and we are marching for you.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, I would say like something simple. If there are people who are like less capable of walking fast and stuff, then please take care of them too, and don't walk too fast in your marches. Well, they stay behind. It's you got some complaints in previous years about that some people were like walking fast, and there are people who are less capable of walking fast. So
that would be me last year. I was the slow walker.
Yeah, but it matters. I mean, everyone wants to participate, and it sucks for them. So.
Right. Well, I still have to have surgery, so, you know, I have to pace myself.
And dress for the weather.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. I'm gonna roll out with the credits, and we will be back live on Anonymous Bites Back, and I believe our guests will be streaming to their local pages. And but Anonymous Bites Back will be streaming live in what, 9 hours again?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, and I guess we'll be live back in 9 hours. See you then.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.